Our Dory Marlin and Jennifer Lukey have been reporting from Newtown over the last 24 hours. Dory joins us now with the story of how one family endured yesterday's events. Dory?
Well, good evening, Craig, from Newtown, Connecticut. We are live right now outside of the town hall, and you can see over my shoulder there are still candles burning here tonight, signs of the love, the courage, the compassion that I know the governor, Dan Malloy, spoke of for the residents in Connecticut about an hour ago, saying that that is what's needed here. Now, today we visited several spots around this town and around the area. One of the places that we visited was the street, Yogananda Street, where the gunman, Adam Lanza, lived with his family before he died. And we couldn't get near the house. It's still closed off, obviously an active investigation scene. But we did go up and down the street. I spoke to neighbors, and while some were still too shaken to speak on camera, I did talk to one family who said that they don't know the shooter. They didn't know the family at all, but they did know Sandy Hook Elementary School very, very well. That's because all of their 4 children went to school there. One of them was actually in the building at the time of the shooting. The sweet sounds of song that now send a chill up your spine. This is video of Sandy Hook Elementary's 4th grade winter concert, taken the night before the deadly school shooting there. Sarah Byers' daughter Elise sang in that concert and was there the next morning.
He was in gym class, and they ushered the kids into a corner.
Byers' 14-year-old daughter Lauren was at Newtown High School at the time.
They said over the intercom, this is not a drill, go into lockdown.
While her 16-year-old daughter Annie was homesick.
Then my brother calls me from North Carolina. He's away at college, and he says, "Did you hear about this shooting at Sandy Hook?" And I was like, "What? I didn't know it was at Sandy Hook."
The whole family slowly learned what was unfolding at the school and the fact that dozens had been killed.
People that had Sandy Hook siblings got to call the parents and everything like that and make sure that it was okay.
Mom Sarah finally got calls from other parents saying they'd seen Elise and she was okay. The two finally reunited at the now infamous firehouse near the school.
Just so happy to see her walking over the hill. We had to park far away, walking over the hill. She was sad thinking about it this morning, and it's hard to know how a 10-year-old perceives all this.
Then, moments after we spoke to her family, Elise came out of the house herself and bravely spoke about what she heard.
I heard some of the policemen at one time in the hallway. They were screaming, "Put your hands up, put your hands up." I was just hoping that nothing would happen.
Fortunately for her family, the worst did not happen, but they know.
Feel blessed and lucky because so many people were not.
That song that you just heard from there, they said it's called Light the Candles, that song, and they said it was a source of pride for the students there at Sandy Hook Elementary, and no doubt it will serve as a source of comfort for many days, months, years to come. Now, over the past 24-plus hours or so, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people describe the events that unfolded here in Newtown as evil, as unspeakable, unthinkable, heartbreaking. They are very harsh words, and that's because it was such a horrific act, what happened here. The people, though, even though they're concerned about the fact that the acts will tarnish the images of the town, they're determined to stay strong and heal and turning to each other to do so. Our Jennifer Lukey has more on that part of the story.
A single white balloon for each of the victims was tied to the school sign today by a community still crippled with shock.
You hear a shooting, my wife and I have been saying, 3 people went to the hospital. It doesn't, somebody was shot in the foot, and then all of a sudden it's like a child is dead, and then more than a dozen children are dead, and it just, I don't know, I just didn't think it could possibly be something like this.
This town will never be the same. And that to me is just really sad.
As the realization of what happened here starts to set in, there are many questions that will likely never be answered.
I'm not sure how to heal, you know, in a lot of ways. I mean, people said it yesterday. This is kind of like, this is September 11th. I mean, for my family, this will affect my kids, you know, and the people in this community in many ways more than that tragedy.
All around Newtown, you now see signs like this. Folks here are turning to their faith to try and heal.
People will turn to God to really try to figure this thing out.
Or try to figure out how to cope.
We're a fairly religious family, and it, you know, doesn't shake my belief in God in any way when something like this happens. It's just, I think it's a way to turn to turn to God and say prayers for these families. You know, I just can't imagine being one of these families.
But they can come together to help them.
I know if I can strengthen myself by being here in church, I can then pass that on to somebody else.
In Newtown, Connecticut, Jennifer Lukey, CBS 6 News.
A lot of people turning to their faith, turning to one another for that support, and that's going to be continuing here for so many days to come. The churches, we are told, many of them staying open 24 hours so that people can go and have that time to try to build and move forward. It's going to be tough, and we've sensed that a lot among the people here, that they just need the time to find their solace. Craig?
All right. Yeah, that sense of community is going to be critical for many, many people, Dory. Thank you, Dory. Stay with CBS 6 as we follow this story on air and online. We'll have the latest updates for you at CBS6Albany.com and on Facebook and on Twitter as well.